Test, 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 1, 2, 1, 2. Everybody good?
You have a nice facility.
That's very nice of you to say, thank you. You haven't been to my station, but thank you. And if you came to my current station, you know why. It's a little tight over there. Starting that early?
Just 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Okay. All right, Ty, you ready?
Go ahead, Chief.
All right. Good afternoon. I am Robert Almada, Robertalmada. I'm the Chief of Police for the City of Lacey. Thank you for coming today. I'm joined today by Special Agent Mike Harrington of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Seattle's field office, as well as Special Agent in Charge Jonathan Blaze of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Seattle office. Today we'll provide you with a briefing on the joint investigation being conducted into an incident that occurred in the City of Lacey during the early morning hours of April 8th. We will also be requesting the public's assistance with this ongoing investigation. At approximately 1:34 a.m. on the morning of Tuesday, April 8th, the Lacey Police Department was notified of several calls to 911 reporting that a large noise or explosion was heard in the area of the 600 block of Sleeter Caney Road Southeast in the City of Lacey. This area is a commercial district of retail stores with a large parking lot where a Tesla charging station is located. Officers arrived on scene and observed significant damage to the charging station. The preliminary investigation gave officers reason to believe that this was most likely an intentional criminal act and not an accident or malfunction. The Lacey Police Department contacted the FBI and the ATF and requested a joint criminal investigation into this incident. The FBI and ATF responded without delay and provided invaluable resources and expertise. The Lacey Police Department Investigations Division is working diligently with our federal partners to investigate all leads. I want to personally thank the public for the information they provided to date, as well as encourage the public to continue to provide information regarding this incident to either the Lacey Police Department or the FBI. I also want to acknowledge the work of our first responders who faced significant challenges during the early morning hours of this investigation and worked diligently to protect the integrity of the crime scene. I also want to express my appreciation for the collaboration, professionalism, and expertise of our federal partners. I look forward to the successful resolution of this case and to ensuring that the person and/or persons responsible are held accountable for this criminal attack. I would now like to introduce Special Agent in Charge of the FBI Seattle Field Office, Mike Harrington, who will provide additional details regarding this investigation.
Thank you, Chief Almada. Good afternoon. I'm Mike Harrington, Special Agent in Charge of the FBI's Seattle Field Office. I'm pleased to be here with our partners at the Lacey Police Department and the ATF. Chief Almada has just given you some background about how this incident developed in the early morning hours last Tuesday, April 8th. Today, I want to talk about our Seeking Information poster, our digital tip line, and a Tesla vehicle at the charging station that we need your help to locate. First, on Friday, FBI Seattle released a Seeking Information poster, which you can see a copy of over here, including new photos and videos of an individual we believe to be responsible for causing significant damage to this Tesla supercharger station. What we're looking for is a white male between 5'10" and 6'2", wearing a dark jacket and face covering, and carrying a white bag, and someone with injuries such as a concussion, burns, or shrapnel cuts that could be caused by being near an explosion or intense heat. And an individual with a slight limp to the right leg kicking out and his right hand sometimes held behind his back. The unique gait of this suspect is noticeable in the videos that we released on the webpage associated with the poster. The injuries will not be present in the videos as they were captured before the incident occurred in any potential injuries. Second, I'd like to emphasize our digital tip line. This site allows us to collect digital media from the public. Your photos and videos may be an important piece in helping us solve this case. Specifically, we're looking for photos and videos captured between late evening on Monday, April 7th, and early morning on Tuesday, April 8th. We're looking for photo or videos taken around the South Sound Center, including the Target and Kohl's stores, the Chehalis Western and Woodland Creek trails, or any location on the trails in the Lacey, Olympia area. Please err on the side of sending us the footage if there's any doubt. This could include doorbell camera footage from residents, security video from nearby businesses, cell phone video or photos, or video from Tesla vehicles at or near the South Sound Center charging station on the evening spanning 7 to 8 April. That brings us to the third point I'd really like to emphasize. We're looking for a 2016 to 2019 Tesla Model X, gray to dark gray in color, that was spotted at the charging station prior to and during the arson incident. This vehicle is not believed to be involved in the incident, but will be a potential witness to the events that evening and could have important evidence. So I'd like to thank our media partners for joining us and your role in helping us to reach the public. The public are our eyes and ears in a case like this, and the information you may provide could be critical in helping us to advance this case and many others. So I'll now turn the event over to SAC Blaze from ATF Seattle to say a few words.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Jonathan Blaze, Special Agent in charge of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, Seattle Field Division. ATF is the federal agency primarily responsible for administering and enforcing the criminal and regulatory provisions of the federal laws pertaining to arson. More than 40 years, ATF has developed scientifically proven investigative capabilities, expertise, and resources that have positioned ATF as the nation's primary source for explosives and fire investigative knowledge and assistance. For this attack on the Tesla Chargers, ATF special agents and FBI special agents responded and conducted a fire scene examination. Evidence was collected and sent to an ATF forensic laboratory for analysis. The ATF Seattle Field Division has worked with our federal, state, and local enforcement partners to investigate multiple attacks against Tesla facilities and vehicles in both Washington and Oregon this year. While we hope there are no further attacks on Tesla vehicles or property, we stand by to support any investigation if another one occurs. Thank you.
And with that, we only take a few questions from the media.
Is it believed that this attack is politically motivated?
So I'll take this one. So I will say that we are treating this as if it were a domestic terrorism incident. However, we don't know what may have motivated this. That's part of their investigation, is looking into that. We do see some of the other elements that would be involved in terrorism, specifically violence in violation of a federal or state law. But that intent piece is what's going to eventually determine that, which would have to have some sort of intent to coerce the U.S. citizens or to influence U.S. policy through violence or coercion. So that is one thing that remains unknown at this point, and will until we're able to really dig into the motivations behind this.
Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about the witness model that was there? Where was it? What it could have possibly seen, where it was positioned?
Right. I don't know exactly where it was positioned, but it was at that charging facility. And so we do believe that there's potential that if somebody were in the vehicle or the vehicle itself recorded some video, that would be very useful to our investigation.
And was that car damaged at all during this explosion, or did it happen right before this explosion, or what's the details in that regard with that potential witness?
Right. I don't believe there was any damage to the vehicle, so we've been placed far enough away that it would not have seen damage, but still it is close enough that information that driver could potentially provide would be very useful to our
And was it at the
investigation.
charging station, or was it just parked in the massive parking lot and kind of near it, or what?
Right. I believe it was at the charging station.
Do you know what time it left?
We don't know that.
Regarding the explosion, is it believed that some type of bomb was used, or was it a fire that was set that caused the explosion?
I would maybe have ATF address that one.
Thank you. It's part of the investigation, and that's the reason why evidence was sent to the laboratory for a final determination to be made by the scientists at the laboratory and the investigators to make the causation of the fire, make the final determination on the causation of the fire and explosion.
Jonathan, have they given you any kind of timeline when they might have that answer?
No, they have not.
How does the fire start?
That's going to be part of the investigation and part of the evidence that's sent to the laboratory for analysis. They'll make that final determination.
Was it on fire when police arrived?
I believe in terms of the chief for that answer, for his response.
There was no active fire when we arrived. That's why Lacey Fire was on call to the scene. When the officer did the initial assessment, it was clear there was a lot of damage and panels had been blown out. There was no active fire.
And what exactly was damaged itself? Just seeing some of the video, it looked like it was kind of that white thing next to the charging stations, and then maybe one particular charging unit was damaged, or what can you say about the damage or the cost that was?
That's a pretty accurate description. So the transformer blew out, the box right there blew out. One of the actual charging station bays was involved.
And we saw that it was just repaired recently. When did that repair take place, and was Tesla on the hook for that, obviously? Were they the ones who repaired it immediately, or?
It's Tesla owned, so they repaired their facility. I don't know the cost.
Was this an amateurish attack, or are there signs that this was sophisticated?
The investigation's ongoing.
Is there more than one suspect?
I can address this. So we're only aware of one suspect now. However, we're not ruling out that there could be an accomplice. In this sort of incident, sometimes we do see that. So it's possible somebody else is involved and could have helped with the preparation, potentially getting the suspect to actually approach the device to and from the location. So if anybody out in the public has any information, not only about the person we're asking about, but anybody else who could be a potential accomplice in this, we'd certainly be interested in hearing about that. But that's really just a possibility we're keeping open at this point.
Can you explain their unusual gait? This happened before the explosion, not after.
That's correct. So this person, when approaching the location, already had this unusual gait, which if you or the public goes onto the website that we've put up, you can actually see some videos that show that gait. So that was pre-existing before they actually conducted the attack on the thing. And then there may be potentially additional injuries post-attack.
And can the FBI share any surveillance video of the actual incident taking place, or that suspect doing the alleged crime, or anything like that we can share with our viewers?
Right, so the best video that we have, we've put up on that website, so it is available for anybody in the public to stream from our site. They can look at the poster, they can look at the video, and then determine whether they have anything that kind of fits our investigation that would be of use to us.
In asking for help from the public to review their footage, I guess before it purges out of their home systems, have Lacey police officers or any agents had the time to canvass areas, or have you done what you could and now you're just reaching out beyond that?
We've taken some investigative actions to that extent, or maybe let the chief address what they've done.
So immediately after the incident, we paired up with our federal partners. We canvassed the area for available video. We obtained a lot of video from a lot of different businesses in the area, a couple of Teslas that were parked in the area, things like that. We'll continue to gather video, so it's an ongoing process.
The video that's on the website right now, what did that come from, or where did it come from?
as part of that canvas.
Just a general question, why is it so important to catch this suspect?
Well, we don't have a lot of incidents like this in Lacey. It's pretty significant when we have this type of explosion occur. And it's very important that we apprehend the suspect and get him into custody and make sure there's no further incidents.
Especially since this is being treated as domestic terrorism. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I could maybe
Sure.
add a little on to that. I mean, like I said, we're treating this as if it is presumptively domestic terrorism. We don't know the motivation behind this, but if it is a terroristic motivation, then we would expect somebody to potentially do this again. And in this case, it was property damage. What we would really hate to see is if somebody were injured or even killed in one of these incidents if it were to continue.
How about one more question?
Any indication how the suspect left the scene, given his unusual gait?
Right, we did see the suspect leave the scene on foot, but that's part of what we're trying to fill in with some additional video, is once he left, what we've been able to see from the existing video, where he might have gone from there.
And which direction was that?
I'm not entirely sure about that.
I believe southbound on the Chehalis Trail.
Right.
Southbound on the Chehalis Trail.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for your attendance today. Again, anyone with information regarding this investigation is encouraged to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Lacey Police Department at 360-459-4333. Thank you.